Welcome, everyone, to Where Did the Rest of Me Go? I am the host, Dino the Genetic Marvel, as you can see here. And I am telling a story about how I used to be a gajillion pounds, and now I am less of a gajillion pounds. Sorry, it's Friday, and I've had a weird day, so I thought I would add a little levity. Um, we've been talking about food this whole week, and it's been very enlightening. I think even for myself, just kind of going back and going through everything. Um, and this week it's also a long weekend. It's Victoria Day on Monday. I think it's Memorial Day in the States too. So in this part of the series, as I said, I've used this 30-part series to kind of explain how I went from being over 450 pounds to now a modest 289.4, which let's be honest is still gigantic. But um, just trying to share my story because, in all honesty, I think a lot of people out there get a lot of information mixed up. Yo, what's happening? I don't know if Serge is here yet, but hey, hopefully he comes. What's up, walkie talkies are neat. Um, but yeah, so I think it goes back to years ago when we got reports that eggs were good for you, then eggs were bad for you, milk was bad for you, bread was good for you. Um, I remember having a discussion, and it came out a little while ago. Was how years ago there was the food pyramid, and on the food pyramid it said you needed 9 servings of breads and cereals, which is absolutely insane. Now, that being said, I signed up for it and I loved it. It was delicious, but it's not good for you, right? So up until now, we talked about the idea of garbage and how there's many different forms that you can consume. Then as well, just taking the time to read what's in food um, is going to be a huge help, just so you understand what it is you're eating. And if you don't understand it, don't eat it. Simple. Um, I was always raised on the idea. My parents would always say, if you don't like it, spit it out. Now, I hate that statement, I'll be honest with you, just because it's hilarious. But more so, I always like, no, I don't want to eat it. I don't want to spit it out. I don't want a part of any of that process. Now, interestingly enough, my parents were onto something. That's a good idea. Is at least try it and see how it is. If you don't like it, because look, there's a lot of fruits that I have never tried. My wife likes all sorts of weird fruits, and she had a lot better of a or my more diverse uh, food upbringing, whereas I went to fast food because that was it. That was a thing. Now, that being said, trying stuff is worthwhile in all scenarios. Because you won't know unless you try. Now, one of the things that I've been trying to do has been to go back and have a better understanding because you can make anything taste good. Let's be honest. Because all you have to do is add other flavors, sugar, salt, and you're just gonna love it. Why? Because it's not the food. So there's something to be said about kind of getting back to basics, and that's one of the things that I've been trying to do during my whole thing. Hey, what's happening, Serge? And Serge, just so you know, Walkie Talkies Are Neat said, "What's up?" as well. But I am doing well tonight. I am. I went for a little walk, but it was raining, which was kind of peaceful and nice. I think I might go for another walk after the show. But I'm trying. I'm having a lot of not anxiety, but I'm having trouble coming off of long fast. So I'm not fasting for the next following week. But while we're talking about fasting, I'm going to be not fasting. And well, I'm going to be intermittent fasting, not fasting. So, but today what we're talking about is food, and that also plays into next week's topic. So one of the big things, and I think a lot of people want to take the time to understand it, is that going back to like basic foods a lot of the times people kind of feel like, "Oh, what am I, like a baby?" And you're like, "Yes, yes." Our palates, our minds, our bodies, our health is that of a child. It is horrible. So the simple way to do things is get back to basics. So one of the things I do is like I started eating a lot more salads and stuff, which let's be honest, salads are hit and miss. But here's the thing is you start to appreciate and understand how different foods are, right? So, like, I told this story before where when I would travel, when I would go back home to Greece, I would eat a salad, a Greek salad, which is like the terminology would be a Horiatiki salata, which is a village salad. The idea of village salad is there's no lettuce. Lettuce is for the animals. This is not for the people. So the idea would be it would just be onions, cucumbers, tomatoes, feta cheese, olive oil, oregano, salt and pepper. That's it. I don't even think there's pepper. Who knows? I eat the salad. I don't make the salad. This is just the honest truth. So that being said, when you eat that salad, especially in Greece, you would eat it and you're full. And they're like, okay, we also have some meat. And I'm like, what? I'm full. And this was as a big fat guy. So that being uh, understood here, it's like now it's the summertime. It's beautiful, right? Because everything's fresh and seasoned and delicious and happy and wonderful and magical. Not during the prime season of growth. You taste it and you're going, well, it doesn't taste like food, right? So one of the things that I've always focused is food is fresh. Exactly, that's exactly it. And remember, it's important to understand like there's an entire world that tries to stay away from the idea of not fresh food. And it's extremely difficult and it takes a lot of knowledge, expertise, but it's worth exploring. I'll be honest with you. Today we bought a bunch of plants and stuff. My wife wanted to buy a bunch of flowers, and I'm like, we can't eat flowers, which you can, but I don't want to. So we bought like tomato plants, some squash, some corn, sunflowers, all sorts of weird stuff. Just because I'm like, listen, just a smattering of it to give it a try. I have dirt, I have space, I have a garden. What the worst that can do happen is I got to dig it up with which, in all honesty, I could use the exercise. So, but the thing is, living in Canada, there's an entire section of the year, somewhere between 4 and 9 months, in between there, where there's no fresh fruit, and it all gets shipped in. That stuff mm, is very not satisfying. I'll tell you that right away. And that's one of the things is being a little more versatile and understanding how the body works. You kind of start to understand, hey, there's a reason why. Up until 100 years ago, things were not done. Like the idea of having refrigeration changed the uh, entire science behind food. Um, and I don't know that it was for the right thing. Now, understand, I'm not a scientist. I'm just talking about my experience, but that was one of the huge things was that transition of being able to refrigerate fruit and then like we had fruit coming from very far away and think about it is there's avocados from Mexico, okay, uh Florida oranges, like these are terms because they were such a massive influence in how things were changing. I was in Mexico in February and the avocados were like little footballs. Here avocados are like baseballs. That doesn't make sense, does it? Very peculiar. But then you have to understand it's a different set of rules. One of the things that we did this year was I had a greenhouse built by a friend, and I'm going to try and use it year round. Now, was it the smartest thing? Who knows? I think it was good, and in all honesty, it's already started. We're filling it up with plants and stuff with herbs that we can use all year round, and then the idea will be to proceed in that fashion. Um, but then hopefully I can use it to do other things. The idea behind it is that having access to fresh, basic foods will change how your body interacts with food. The greenhouse is awesome. That's because she's using it. That's fair. But that's one of the things. Like for even I started investigating about having eggs. I'm not allowed to have chickens, regretfully, but um, I want to link up with a chicken farm so I can get fresh eggs. The idea behind that being that the less the less of a process before food gets to your door means closer to mm, basic nutrition, I believe. You got a greenhouse. Yeah, we had it built. It's not too big. It's probably about 6 feet by about 8 feet deep. It's a decent one, and it's got two windows in there. It's good. It's good. It's a definite. It's an experiment in trying to keep food all year round. But I'm excited about it. I really am. So we'll see. That being said, I think the message for today, and one of the key aspects of all this, is it's not enough to know what's in your food, but it's about uh, changing what we consume instead of like, look, cooking and everything is a huge talent. I personally love it, and you're absolutely right, Serge. Fresh is the best. That's 100% accurate. And one of those core aspects or fundamentals of understanding is that when you have fresh, good, real food, transforming it into another dish is it's a very exciting thing, and you can add value, right? Because the whole idea is it's more valuable than the sum of its parts. But if it wasn't all mashed together, would it still be delicious? That's one of the keys, and you'll hear a lot about this going forward. Is there's ideas of with regards to different meats, and I don't know if anyone's heard about meat glue. However, that is horrific. Why? Because it's not a good thing. It's a bad thing, right? And there's a lot of research out there that's saying like, hey, a lot of the stuff we're eating isn't really how it's barely edible as opposed to what we should be eating. Remember, those are two hugely different scenarios, right? What we should be eating versus what is actually consumable, right? Fair thing. And it's something that I think is very important, and it's really helped me was focusing on basic foods. And then you know what? Yeah, I go out and I eat something fancy. Of course, yeah, I'm paying for it. That's totally reasonable. But what I'm talking about is just keeping things basic for a while will kind of change how things work. Well, yeah, if I can, maybe I may do start doing that. Do videos in your greenhouse and share tips you learned. That's definitely going to be part of it. Just so you guys know too, I have bought a pork shoulder and I'm looking at smoking that this weekend. There are also going to be videos of that because why not? But yeah, the whole idea, guys, is that going back to basics is a huge uh, value in your day to day, and we have to start thinking about that way because a lot of times we focus on what's delicious for every meal of the day, when in actuality, what we need to focus on is what are we trying to serve ourselves, right? What are we celebrating here? Are we celebrating being alive, or are we celebrating that tomorrow we might die? Right? That's the whole idea behind going back to core components of our food will help us kind of establish a better system. Also, your gut health and mental clarity totally will change. So it's definitely something that I think is very valuable. Try going, what I tried to do is just because I was doing everything at once, but so for the single meal, for a lot of when I was losing the bulk of the weight in the beginning, was I had one meal a day, and that meal was uh, two eggs, two slices of bacon, and two hash browns. That was it. That was the basic meal that I started my day with. And then I would also have lemon water, coffee with cream, which I'm having some right now, which it's very late, so I'm an idiot. Aha. And and then water. And now I've opened up to carbonated water from a friend of mine. He explained to me that there's a lot of benefits because we're lacking salt. And I found that when I've been doing my long fast, that's another issue. So that's going to be covered next week. But for now, get back to basics and you'll see that little change. But that's it for today. Tomorrow, we're going to keep on talking about food, also just the different components and how they work, and little things that will help kind of start things and also alleviate stresses when we're talking about food. But please, if you like this video, like it, share it with your friends. Feel free to subscribe to any of my channels as I'm trying to post stuff daily and kind of get the word out that change is possible and you don't need a magic pill for it, but just a little bit of brain power and some effort. Thanks, everyone, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next episode. Bye bye.